Hi, I am Professor Partha Vaiude, consultant plastic surgeon. This is Larry Rivers' Parts of the Face, French vocabulary lesson 1961. My first impression is that Larry was taunting us. He was telling us that we can label someone's face like an object. So I found it quite amusing, but I found it quite intriguing that he needed to make such an obvious statement with it. It's very interesting. In this painting, he draws our eye with the arrows to the eye of the subject. All those arrows seem to be pointing in a similar direction, some of them to the mouth, but most of them, when you extend the lines, when you extend the eye, or the eye follows those arrows into the face, they seem to converge onto the eye, which I think is the focus of this piece of art. The detail of the eye, part of the nose and the lips is very accurate, anatomically beautiful, accurate, proportionate. But for me, the corner of the eye where he's drawing us to is very, very interesting, and that really takes me in. What attracts me most in this piece is the way he has played with the focus and the defocus, and with this very light but energetic play, where the focus seems, on the side of on the right side of the face, where the eye, part of the nose, and the lips are in focus. It's almost quite staged, while the rest of it, in defocus, frames the face, actually gives it personality. I'm not sure I like or dislike this piece. I'm quite neutral. I'm certainly affected by this piece. I actually feel that it is, even though not so much on the face of it, having analyzed it, having tried to scratch beyond the surface, I do feel that it's, there is a lot of depth there, and I am affected by it. I was thinking about this, and I actually feel that it takes me, and you'll find this strange, but it takes me to taxonomy. The image is almost like a stuffed animal, an object, and that's what he has made this face to represent, an object. He wants to tell us, I believe, that we see people, we take out emotion, and he presents to us an object, like we do with taxonomy. My discipline is about form, it's about shaping, and this picture is about shaping. This picture looks at a face as it is, and he does a beautiful job of defining the units and the subunits of the face, how, when altered, when parts of the face are not depicted, so the eye has been taken out on the left side, and that part of the face has not really been completed intentionally, I'm sure. The face looks out of proportion. It suddenly throws the principles of what I would expect to see completely out of the window, and my reconstruction brain starts working overtime. So my skills of looking at proportion, light and shade, the subunits of the face, and how we can use these subunits of the face to enhance any intervention or hide certain parts of the face, actually can be seen depicted beautifully, and I think it's quite exciting to see his work. I think this piece of art makes us think about how we perceive ourselves today. In his interpretation of the self as an object, where we can label ourselves with arrows and identify the anatomy, he takes away the human element from this picture, makes us very much an object. And we often see ourselves more and more as an object. We change ourselves, we dress ourselves, we alter ourselves, we project ourselves more and more as an object. And I think there is a need to humanize, and I think that's the message I take from it. Yes, my opinions have changed. My initial impressions were very, very scientific, very surgical. I was looking at a face, a focused part, a defocused part, an anatomically beautiful, proportionate, balanced face. Now I see the message as more a conceptual message, more moral. I see it in a different context completely. I can see how Larry is possibly trying to tell us that we need to look beyond the obvious, beyond the surface. He's trying to dip in and out of the emotions of the viewer and the subject. And I think we haven't discussed in this interview the subject, but the person who has been portrayed, her emotions of being seen in a certain way, her feelings of and her insecurities of how she comes across are an important aspect, which I think as you analyze closer, more and more, or further and further, become a different focus, and I think that's a more important focus now for me. I've been thinking about this one as well, and the way he is mocking us, I feel there needs to be something interesting that goes back into it. So I would call this painting, Now I Know Who She Is. Definitely. In my professional practice, the art I see is very classic, anatomical, very perfect, very devoid of emotion. I will now seek art, even educational material, which will give a little bit more emotion. I think there was a need in the past to take out the human element to depict knowledge or science, and I think it can be brought back. I think science will benefit from the human element.